7 and chapter. And there are only 2 more lessons left, unit 16 and 17. Grade 10 chemistry, there are 5 lessons. Chemistry lessons, there are 5. Out of 5 lessons, we have done 3 lessons. Chapter 3, 7, and 10. Chapter 3, like that is the atomic structure. Chapter 7, chemical calculation, and unit 10, bonding, chemical bonding. So the other 2 lessons, so the unit 16 and 17, that is third term work. Now, the only thing is chemistry without good understanding about the previous lessons, you will find it difficult in the upcoming lessons, even in the grade 11. That's why I thought of doing this revision also. There are 100 MCQs, complete revision of grade 10 chemistry. So 1 to 45 we discussed last week. And some students raised this question again about this question number 3, actually, who introduced the term atom to the world. That is actually not John Dalton. John Dalton atomic theory. John Dalton atomic theory, this Democritus, Greek philosopher. Atomos, actually that is a Greek word. Atomos means indivisible, indivisible. Right? So therefore, the answer is no doubt that is second one, right? So answer is second, Democritus, because I have taught this more than now 20 years, A-level chemistry. So then it won't change, right? Now, let's move on to the question number 45. Right. So let's start from this. Question number 45. Which of the following is an ionic lattice? Answer is sodium chloride. So it's very easy. Ionic lattice consists of ions. Ionic lattice consists of ions, or the made of ions, positive ions and negative ions. And all the ionic compounds, exist as ionic lattices. Ionic lattices. Therefore, sodium chloride is the most common ionic lattice you come across in your day-to-day life. If you want, you can write here graphite is graphite and diamond. Actually, all these 3 are atomic lattices. But only thing is, graphite and diamond homoatomic lattice, silicon dioxide heteroatomic lattice. So all 3 are lattices. All these 3 are considered as lattices. Why it is called lattice? It's like polymers. So polymers, large number of molecules combine. When it comes to lattices, large number of atoms or ions combine. Even there are molecular lattices also. Molecular lattices also available. Right. Then question number 46. I'll erase the screen. Question number 46. Who can give me the answer? 46th MCQ. Yes. Any volunteers? Minu?
Answer 1.
Answer 1. Because shines. Right. Any other alternative answers? Minu gave the first. 46. I'm asking the 46th. Question number 46, the answer. So try to get your opportunity, because paper class, I need the answers from you, because I want to check whether you have done this or not. I'll ask the answer again. 46th one from V Mansa.
Fourth answer.
Fourth answer, yes. Answer is fourth. That is the most correct answer due to the lattices. Why diamond graphite having high melting point? Due to the formation of lattices. Lattices. Question number 46, answer is fourth. 46 answer is fourth. Question number 47. Okay, now from 47 onwards, so kind of the hardest lesson for the grade 10 students, chemical calculation or quantification of elements and compounds. So that's the topic of the lesson. Unit 7, they find this difficult. But anyway, you don't get so it's all the calculations around these few equations. Therefore, if you know how to apply the values to this those equations, then you will find it easy. Because the same thing they wrote in the Excel. First one, what is the relative molecular mass? Relative molecular mass of urea. If it is relative, there's no unit here, only the numerical value. But if they give molar mass, then you have to write the units also. So you, Ria, who can give me the answer for the 47th MCQ? I'll ask the answer from Anuk.
First answer.
Yeah, very good. Answer is first on 60. Let's see how to get it. Those who are not done. Carbon 12 plus oxygen 16. Oxygen 16 plus. So then you have to get the total inside the bracket. How to get the total inside the bracket? So this inside the bracket you get 14 plus 2, 16. 14 plus 2, 16. Inside the bracket, outside bracket, you get 2. So then you get this one, you get 28. 28 plus, so this, when you multiply this by 32, 16 into 2, 32. That's how you get it. So then the total will be 60. So this is the most important thing. You should get the total inside the bracket first. NH2, the total 16. So 16 into 2, 32. 16 into 2, 32. It is very important. Carbon and usually in the exam, they will give this. Each element, the RAM is given, no need to memorize. If they ask you to calculate, if they give a calculation, if you need the RAM or molar mass, so they will give each element the RAM they will give, don't need to memorize that. Right. Question number 48. Who can give me the answer for the 48th MCQ? 48. Relative molecular mass of MH4. Then what is the relative atomic mass of M? I'll ask the answer from 48 MCQ. Sumela. Sumela.
First answer.
First answer, yes, very good. Yes, answer is first. Okay, very good, Sumela. Answer is first. So because the total here, MH4 total 16. So you get this total 16, what? M plus H4 is, so M is unknown. So then 4 plus what is 16? 4 plus 12. So the answer will be 12 here. 4 plus 12 will be 16. Right. So the answer is first one, question number 48. Then question number 49. 49th MCQ. There are some standard symbols for the molecular mass, moles, and molar mass. Molecular mass, amount of moles and mass. There are standard symbols. That's what. So from this you get an equation also, expression for the calculation. 49th, I'll ask the answer for the 49th MCQ from Nalim, Afrin Nalim.
Third one.
Third one. Molecular mass, amount of moles and mass. Okay, so he gave third answer. Any other alternative other than third? Okay, I'll ask again the answer from someone else. Pulsara, Sujivani.
Second answer.
Okay, she gave second answer. Yeah, that is the correct one. Now, again, look at Afrin. Now, if you take molecular mass, it's capital M. Molar mass or molecular mass, relative molecular mass, capital M. Moles, you get simple N. And mass, you get simple M. Right? So you have to get it respectively. You have to get it respectively. So then the answer is second. Yes, Sujivani, your answer is correct. Read the question twice before you write the answer. Because some questions you have to, they ask in false statement. Sometimes they ask ascending order. Sometimes they ask descending order. Sometimes they ask incorrect statement and respectively. So all this very, very important. With units or without units, so those things also important, whether it's units are correct. Sometimes you know, you do the calculation and you get the numerical value. So you don't pay much attention to the unit and you just underline based on the numerical value the answer. But then at the end that numerical value is correct, the magnitude, but the unit's wrong. But there's again similar answer with the same numerical value with the correct unit. Sometimes they might not give the unit. So those things you have to be very careful even in physics, not only in chemistry. Now let's move on to the 50th MCQ. 50th MCQ. 50th MCQ, right? Now, before I continue, please raise the hand. Those who have done this at home, at least up to about 70, 80 MCQs, not up to 100, at least to about 70 to 80 like MCQs, at least up to 75 MCQs. Those who have done at home, please raise the hand. Those who have done this paper at home, all the possible ones, please raise the hand. There's no point of just copying down the answers if you don't know what's the question even. At least you should know the question. Maybe your answer is wrong. You might find it difficult to answer, but you need to make an effort at home. Around 24 students, so nearly 50%. Others, they haven't done it. You are just underlining the answer now. Remember, without making an effort by yourself before I discuss, so then you will not improve. At least immediately now, now please quickly try to get the answer before I explain. Then only you will improve, right? Okay. Those who are done, good. You will go for good grade. In the oral science paper also, you will definitely go for good grade if we are doing this work properly at home. Otherwise, at the end, your parents 11 years effort in vain if you don't do this properly. Right? Waste enough parents' money and time. Right. Question number 51. 50th one. 50th one, what is the answer? What is the equation to calculate the number of moles? That's what they asked. I'll ask the answer from Talal.
Third answer.
Third answer. Okay. Any other alternative answers other than third answer for the 50th one? Those Talal gave the third answer. Moles, how to calculate moles? I'll ask the answer from Sujivani.
First answer.
First answer. Yes, answer is first one. First one. Now remember, number of moles equal mass divided by molar mass. Now you can check this easily. You can check this easily by using the units. So the mass measured in grams and molar mass measured in grams per mole. Remember, you should get the final answer in moles, because simple and moles. Previous one I asked what it is. So each symbol, the name of the symbol. So when gram get cancelled, you get the final answer in mole. This gram get cancelled, right? Gram get cancelled. Then you get mole become per mole. So you get the correct unit for this equation. So you get mole, the final answer you get in moles. Otherwise the expression is wrong. If the expression is correct, you should get the correct unit at the end. Therefore, how to calculate number of moles? Mass divided by molar mass. Actually, there are 3 equations to calculate number of moles. There's one more equation to calculate number of moles. If you can copy down this in your short notebook, this is one equation, right? This is one equation. And the other equation is, you can calculate the number of moles using this also. Wait, I'll encircle this first equation. Second equation to calculate number of moles equal number of atoms or number of particles divided by number of atoms divided by Avogadro constant 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. This is actually for atomic moles of atoms. But if you want to find moles of compound or molecule, then you can again find number of molecules over Avogadro constant. That is the third equation. Please copy down all three equations to calculate the number of moles. So what is simple and number of moles? Number of moles equal, I think you have a short notebook, right? Number of moles equal number of molecules over Avogadro constant. Number of molecules over Avogadro constant 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Actually, most of the students, even in we have observed in marking also, most of the students, they don't write most of the students, they don't write the unit of the Avogadro constant. So my advice, you can write the unit of the Avogadro constant, because Avogadro constant unit per mole. Avogadro constant unit per mole. Here also per mole. Because number of molecules or number of atoms, no units, then you get the answer in moles. Per mole become mole. MOL minus 1 become MOL after when you take this to the numerator, or after adding the final answer, you have to put the moles. So what are the three equations? First one, number of moles equal mass divided by mole mass. Depending on the data given, you should know how to, you have to select the equation. Depending on the data given, you have to select the equation to do the calculation. And the other equation is, there's one more equation. Number of moles equal, that is grade 11 actually. N equals CV. I'll write this at the top. N equals CV. N equals CV. N equals CV. C into V. Number of moles equal concentration into volume. Concentration multiplied by volume. C for concentration, actually that is grade 11. So either you do this in grade 11 or 10. At the end, what happened? It's like a soup in the exam. You don't get all the essay type questions only from grade 11 or only from grade 10. So either you are getting structured essay question in the oral paper or essay type. They can combine this grade 10 and grade 11 stuff. Okay, so the answer will be N equals CV, N moles, C for concentration, V for volume. V for volume and C for concentration. So that one you haven't done yet because it's grade 11 chemistry. But these three equations, if you can copy it, and that was then the fourth equation, everything you have at one place, everything you have at one place. Therefore, please copy down all four equations. So it will be useful. Otherwise, you have one equation in some other book, grade 11, and then these three separated. At the end, all four equations to calculate moles. Most commonly used equation is the first equation to calculate number of moles. Question number 51. Shall I erase this? Anyone still copy down? Four equations to calculate moles. Please copy down in your short notebook. Okay, when you are done, please lower your hand. When you are joining, so some of the students, they have joined without the name code. So you have to put your first name and then the name code, because I am taking attendance. Now it's okay, but you have to, because again I have to check separately. Your August name code, you have to join with your August name code. Those who have paid, I'm taking attendance every class, right? Then question number 51, I'll erase this. 51. Question number 51, number of molecules containing 11 grams. So if they give grams, if they give mass and ask the moles, then what is the equation? That first equation. Now you copy down four equations. Which equation should be used for this? Number of moles equal mass over molar mass. This equation. Simple M divided by capital M. This is the equation you have to use. Right? This is the equation you have to use. So then I will apply values. Who can give me the answer for this? Actually, there's only one decimal place here. So this is just 1.5, right? 1.2 here, 1.2 here, 1.5, right? So any volunteers? Question number 51, the answer. I'll ask the answer for the 51 from Ayad. Usman?
Answer is 1.5 times.
Second one.
Yeah, very good. Answer is second. Both of you are correct. No need to tell the entire answer. You can tell answer is second, like it clear. Everyone can hear clearly. So the answer is second. Very good. How come? Let's see the calculation now. Okay. Those who have not done, please look at this. 11 grams, the calculation important. Imagine now if you get this in the essay type paper or structured essay type, then you should know how to work out. You are getting marks for the method also. Simple M divided by capital M. Simple M for mass, capital M for molar mass. So then number of moles equal 11 grams divided by what is the molar mass of carbon dioxide. Actually, they should give this in the exam. They'll give it definitely, because in previous one also I have given carbon equal 12, oxygen equal 16. Then you get the total carbon dioxide. The molar mass will be what? 44. Carbon dioxide will be 44 grams per mole when you get the total. So then molar mass will be 44, because oxygen 32, carbon 12, then the total will be 44 grams per mole. That is called molar mass. If it is molar mass, you have to write the unit. For molecular mass or molar mass, you have to write the unit. If it is relative one, relative molecular mass, then you no need to write units. So this is grams, 44 grams per mole. Always get used to write the units also with the value. Otherwise, you will do careless mistakes, because when you write the unit only, you know the whether if the units won't get cancelled properly, and if you don't get the final answer in correct unit, then you know that my method is wrong, because I didn't get the correct unit. Now I can check whether my expression is correct, because gram get cancelled, and finally I should ended up with moles. I should get the unit from the equation itself. I don't need to think the unit separately after the calculation, because I am getting the unit automatically. I am getting here. So a mole is left. Per mole become mole. Per mole become mole. So 11 times 1. So how to do the calculation now? Look at this. Very easy. 11 times 1. 11 times 4. 1 over 4. 1 over 4. So 1 over 4, 11 times 1, 11 times 4. 11 grams divided by 44. So then you will get the final answer when you divide this. What is the number of molecules contained? So then you get, but they are asking number of molecules. Be careful. Then moles you get 1 over 4. I'll write here 1 over 4 without simplifying. 1 over 4 moles. Is that the final answer? No. Now they are asking number of molecules. So number of molecules, then there's one more step. You have to convert moles into molecules. Look at this is a good question. Can you put please 3 stars for this question? O-level paper, they can ask this. This type of question they can ask in the O-level paper also. Therefore, I want you to learn this. I will use this separate background to write the answer. Right. I'll use this white background, white screen to write the answer, the next part. Okay, now we have found the moles. Question number 51. What is the first step? Convert grams into moles. That is the first task. So I'll highlight that is the first step, first equation. After this, then you can go for the second equation. What is the second one? You have to convert this into molecules. How to convert this into molecules? Number of molecules equal mass, moles into, look at this, number of molecules. So second one, number of molecules equal moles into Avogadro constant. See 1 over 4 moles. So we put this answer here and multiply this by Avogadro constant. Actually, Avogadro constant also given in the exam. Now see whether units nicely get cancelled. Here 1 over 4 moles. This is per mole. MOL minus 1. MOL minus 1. Then per mole, mole per mole get cancelled. Look at here. Mole, MOL and MOL minus 1 get cancelled. Then you get the final answer, number of molecules, no units. So that is just counting. So number of molecules, no units. So then you get the answer. How to simplify this? Look at here. 1 over 4 into 6.02. 4 times 1. 4 times 1. 4 times 1 here. 4 times 1. Decimal place. 1 point, then remains 2. 4 times 1, then remains 2. 24 times 5. For 24 times 5. If you can continue at least to the 1 decimal place, they have given the answer maximum up to 1 decimal place. Therefore, we don't need to continue further. You can write the final answer now. Here 4 times 1, here 4 times 5. Then you get the final answer 1.5 into, so 10 to the power 23. This one no change. 10 to the power 23 no change. 1.5 into 10 to the power 23. So it's a very good question, hard, and these type of questions they can ask in the exam. So what is the first step? Convert grams into moles. I put this carbon dioxide 11 grams. So you have to convert 11 grams into moles, and after that you have to convert that into number of molecules, because carbon dioxide is a molecule. Carbon dioxide is a molecule. Now remember, either you want to calculate number of molecules or number of atoms. How to find? Okay, what are the equations? Now earlier I told you 4 equations to calculate moles. Now if you want, you can copy them in your short notebook. Number of molecules, or if you want to find number of atoms, this is the equation. Number of molecules equal number of moles into Avogadro constant. Avogadro constant. This is one. And even if you want to find the number of atoms, then also the same equation, number of moles into Avogadro constant. Avogadro constant. Right? Either you want to find the number of molecules or number of atoms. Please copy down. Now you have altogether 6 equations. Earlier I gave 4 equations to calculate moles. 4 equations, including the grade 11 equation. Now with these two, you have 6 equations altogether. Either number 5 and this is number 6. What is the only difference here? Here you had to write moles of molecules. So this is what moles of molecules. Moles of molecules. This one is moles of atoms. Moles of atomic moles. Molecular moles and atomic moles. Here the moles of atoms. That's the only difference, because carbon dioxide is a molecule. Therefore, we had to use the number 5, the first equation. Then if it is hydrogen, atoms, then you have to use the next equation, atomic moles into Avogadro constant. Now imagine a situation. Now I want to find this carbon dioxide. I found the molecules. If I want to find the oxygen atoms in the same, now the answer is second, but I will explain a bit further, because if they make the question a bit hardest one, they can ask you how many oxygen atoms. Okay, I'll erase this these 2 equations. Did you all finish copying down the 2? I asked you to copy down this the number 5 and 6, the last 2 equations in your short notebook, because this is one of the hardest lessons for the students. Now imagine, if you want, you can find this way also. If I want to find the number of atoms now, number of atoms. Now we got how many moles of 1/4 moles of CO2. Or else 1/4 means what? 0.25 moles of CO2. Now, if I want to find number of atoms here, look at the screen, everyone. This is the hardest type they can ask in the exam. 0.25 moles of CO2 has carbon the same amount, 0.25 moles of carbon. Carbon will be 0.25 moles and oxygen will be 2 times than that. Oxygen will be 0.25 into 2. 0.25 into 2. That's how you get it. This is oxygen, this is carbon atoms. Please copy down this additional information. So the answer for this one is 1.5 into 10 to the power 23. But if they ask oxygen atoms in 11 grams of CO2, so what did I do now? Actually, I converted 11 grams of CO2. First, I converted into moles. First, I converted this into moles. If you want, you can copy down this flow diagram even. If you are given the mass of any compound, first you can convert that into moles. Look at the screen. I will encircle 11 grams of CO2. I converted into moles using that equation. 1 over 4 moles. 1 over 4 moles means 0.25. 0.25. So then after that, I converted this into atoms, oxygen atoms and atomic moles. I converted this into atomic moles. So this should be oxygen atoms will be, this should be carbon. Huh? That means you have to multiply this by 1. Here you have to multiply this by 2. Then you get the oxygen, 0.5 moles of oxygen. 0.5 moles of oxygen. Here carbon atomic moles, here oxygen atomic moles. O. I'll put that within inner comma, 0.5 moles. Now you can convert this into, if you want, you can convert this into atoms. How to convert this into atoms? Multiplied by Avogadro constant. If you want to find the oxygen atoms in 11 grams of CO2. Now you can't do this in single step. You have to convert into moles and then, okay, first you have to convert this into moles, first step, and second step you have to convert this into this. And after that, you can convert that into, third step, you can convert that into atoms. Look at the screen again. First, number 1, mass to moles. How? Using that equation, number of moles equals simple n equals simple m divided by capital M. I'll highlight this also. Green, the first step. This is the first step. And then next step is this. Number 2, I converted. If you want, you can convert this into molecules also. Look at this. I can convert this into, if I multiply this by Avogadro constant, what happened? You get 10 to the power 23. Then you get CO2 molecules. Please copy down this flow diagram, everyone. If I multiply this by Avogadro constant, any like moles of molecules or moles of atom, mole, if you multiply somewhere, you get the number of particles. It can be atomic or subatomic or molecule or whatever, right? So anything, any moles, if you multiply by Avogadro constant, you get the number of particles in that. Particle can be molecule or atom or whatever. So then you get here, that is what we did in this question, 1.5 into 10 to the power 23 here. When you multiply 10 to the power 20, that's what we got here. That is CO2 molecules. What is this? CO2 molecules, not atoms. Because molecular mole we multiplied by Avogadro constant. Look at the screen, everyone. Right. This is applicable for any other question. Only difference, they will change the molecule or the atom or the compound. Only thing they can do, they can change the mass and they can change the molecule. The same procedure. First you convert grams into moles and then you can convert that into molecules. And the other one, you can further continue this into atoms. So if I want to find the number of carbon atoms, I multiply this by Avogadro constant. So carbon atoms, this into Avogadro constant, 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. If I want to find oxygen atoms, then the same scenario multiplied by Avogadro constant, 6.02 into 10 to the power 23. You understand? So then you will get the answer here. Oxygen atoms, and I'll put here C atoms, carbon atoms. So here you will get oxygen atoms, O atoms. You can do the calculation as a multiplication. You can do that, just max, basic max, oxygen atoms. If you want to, if you multiply this, what is the exact answer you get here? Oxygen atoms, you get what? 6.3.011 into 10 to the power 23. 10 to the power 23. So that also, if you divide by half, then you get this one, the answer, 1.5 something. So this one, you get the same answer, 1.5 into 10 to the power 23. Is that clear? So this is what they could ask the maximum. Any question, they can't ask beyond this. Most frequently asked questions, these ones in the exam. Okay, again what? I'll put 1, 2, 3, 4. First, converting grams into moles. And then that into molecules. Number 2. And number 3, converting that into atoms. 3 and 4. converting that in. But before you find the carbon, okay, how many carbon atoms in 11 grams of CO2? Here the answer is number 3, 1.5 into 10 to the power 23. Right, so I'll put here number 5. If there's how many oxygen atoms in 11 grams of CO2, then this one, number 5, 3.011 into 10 to the power 23. Again, what? Convert grams into moles. If it is a molecule, if you then you get CO2 molecules. If it is oxygen, here you get oxygen molecules. If it is glucose, then you get glucose molecules. That is to find the number of molecules. But in the molecule also there are atoms. If you want to find the atoms, then you have to go ahead with 2 more steps. Convert that into atomic moles and then multiply by Avogadro constant. Molecular mole. This is molecular mole. Molecular mole. Molecular moles should be converted into atomic moles. Atomic moles. That's what I did here. 0.5 moles of atoms. Atomic moles. So that is based on the equation, the formula of the compound. This is what atomic moles. Atomic moles. Yeah, atomic moles. Atomic moles into Avogadro constant, you get atoms. Molecular moles into Avogadro constant, you get molecules. Yeah, atomic moles, they are molecular moles. If you want with a pencil, you can label that also. Molecular moles into Avogadro constant, you get number of molecules. Molecular mole, because CO2 is a molecule. Molecular moles. So 1 CO2 mole has 2 atomic moles of oxygen. I don't have space, right? Imagine, look at this equation. If I take 1 mole of, I'll write it the different color. It's the corner rightmost side bottom. Rightmost side bottom. Look at this. If I take 1 mole of water, H2O, 1 mole of H2O, then molecular moles 1. Then how many atomic moles of hydrogen? 2 moles of hydrogen atoms. 1 mole of oxygen atom is very easy. Without doing calculation, you can, by looking at the formula, you can tell it. Please copy down that also. 2 moles of hydrogen and 1 mole of oxygen. Now imagine if I want to find hydrogen atoms in 1 mole of water. I'm repeating. Look at this. I'll put a star here. If I want to find the hydrogen atoms in 1 mole of water, should I multiply by the Avogadro constant by 1 or 2? By 2. Because hydrogen atomic moles 2 in 1 mole of water. So if you take 1 mole of humans, how many moles of hand? 2 hands. 2 moles of hands. If you take 1 mole of human, 2 moles of hand. But if you take 1 man, 2 hand. Now imagine I'll take 1 water molecule, then just 2 hydrogen atoms. Then I can't tell mole. If I take, don't mix up this. If I take 1 water molecule, just 2 hydrogen atoms. But if I take 1 mole of water, then I can't tell 2 hydrogen atoms. I have to tell 2 atomic moles or 2 moles of hydrogen atom. That is the difference between these two. 1 man, 2 hands. But 1 mole of humans, 2 moles of hand. You can't tell 2 hands. You can't tell 1 mole of humans, 2 hands. That is completely wrong. 1 mole means what? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 heads. Right? So the number of hands will be 2 times that because 1 man has 2 hands. Do you understand? So this is also something similar to that. Right? If you take head as the oxygen and 2 hydrogen as the hands, that is how you find it. But if you take 1 mole of humans, how many moles of heads? Same value, same amount. That's why I told, look at this, 1 mole of water has 1 mole of oxygen. 1 mole of humans having 1 mole of heads. Head, 1 mole. 1 man, 1 head. But 1 mole of humans, 1 mole of head. Then how many heads? 1 mole into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. So try to understand the concept one by one. You don't need to memorize this. If you only think in the exam, the same method, the method will not change. They can change the molecule, carbon dioxide or glucose or water molecule, but they will not give very complex one like paracetamol, aspirin, or like very complex one. They'll give simple molecules, but they can never ask a question, how many atoms are there in sodium chloride, right? Why? Sodium chloride is not, does not contain any atoms. Sodium chloride contain only ions. I have seen some school term test papers, the question, some teachers, they ask, how many atoms are there in 1 mole of NaCl? Right? How many atoms? So no atoms, 0 atoms, because NaCl is made of ions, positive ions and negative ions, Na plus and Cl minus. Then they should change the question, how many sodium ions are there in NaCl? I will write here this, I don't have this space. These are the same, some mistakes when the teachers make the questions. I'll write here this corner, I don't know whether you can see here, there are so many. This is, if you take 1 mole of NaCl, 1 mole of NaCl, look at, I'm writing the leftmost side top. 1 mole of NaCl, then I have to tell 1 mole of sodium ions, not atom, Na plus ions. 1 mole of NaCl has 1 mole of chloride ions. Is that clear? 1 mole of chloride ion. 1 mole of NaCl contain 1 mole of sodium ions and 1 mole of chloride ion. Actually, in A-level chemistry also, I have seen the students find this part hard. Why? Because O-level also they find it this hard. A-level also they find this. So there's this come under physical chemistry. A-level chemistry is divided into 4 branches: general chemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and physical chemistry. The hardest part for the biology student, bioscience students, physical chemistry, because there's calculation. Chemical calculation involve a lot of calculation, balancing equation and all. But the max students, they find the physical chemistry part easily. So if someone is good in max and chemistry, you can do chemical engineering. Chemical engineering. If you are good in max and chemistry, that's good combination. If you are good in IT, now sometimes you tell, I like IT, but I don't like science, then no use. The only IT useless. If you do IT and engineering, then you can do a lot of things. If you know IT and accounting, then it's good combination. Only IT useless for what? So if you have accounting, then you can use the software for, therefore that is called multidisciplinary, multi-skill. So what are the skills required to survive beyond 21st century? Multidisciplinary, right? So now you should know something about everything, right? You should be expert in, imagine I am good in science, but I should know a little bit of IT also, otherwise I can't survive in the private sector or even government sector under this with the technological revolution. Therefore, that's why I'm telling, please raise the hand, how many of you are doing O-level IT? Raise the hand, those who are doing O-level IT, ICT, O-level ICT. Out of 50, those who are doing O-level ICT, please raise the hand. Okay, around 33 is okay. Good, very good. I'm not telling the other side. So ICT is so good, but because at IT you can learn at any age, no problem. Even now I can do IT, but you should know your subject well, right? Therefore, A-level also there's IT is available. University, when I was in the university, IT was compulsory for all 4 years in the university. So I can't remember, but even we were asked to make the website and all this programming, everything we learn. So with that little bit of knowledge, so we can manage now. Otherwise, how can I do this online class if I don't know any IT knowledge? So therefore, with this COVID-19, who started the online classes first? IT teachers. They didn't want any help from the others. So Sinhala teacher and the others, they were struggling. Not everyone. Some of the teachers, they are good in IT and Sinhala both. I'm not, but majority of the other teachers, they were struggling to come to this online platform. They don't know how to handle it. So basic things. So that's why I told you should know something about it. Imagine a doctor. So he should know how to handle those devices. Only, doctor without if he doesn't know how to operate the starting from the thermometer and the stethoscope, that's technology, physics. Doctors, so they are good in, like, they have done medicine, but without physics, there's no improvement in the medical field. All these PCR machine come from physics. Even thermometer, then ECG, ultrasound scanner, ECG, then if you take MRI, all the CT scan, then all these come from ultrasound, and all these come from physics, all these devices. Otherwise, if even the blood report and all originated from chemistry, chemicals. Therefore, that's why the chemistry, physics, and biology, all three compulsory for medicine. So I told with that IT also very important now beyond 21st century. Right? That's why I'm telling. If you are good in IT and chemistry, you can become a computational chemist, a scientist who can design drugs, pharmaceutical medicine. Now there's a big now that is one of the big market in the world for this. It's like a mafia, pharmaceutical industry. So if you can make one tablet for a medicine or a disease or cancer tablet or cancer medicine, so like it's a billion scale business. So there are consultant chemists, top chemists working for those industries. Right? That's why I told computational chemistry. So some students, they don't know this. They think I don't like science, I like only IT. You know your point. So with IT, you should know one more subject. Very good. You should be good in one more subject. That is for your, because mostly you don't get this information, career guidance for most of the Sri Lankan students from the school or from the other places. Then they are asking from the others, what should I do for A level? What should I do? Now they get 9 A's O level, but they don't know what to do for A level. Right? Therefore, you should be fully focused. And after 10 more years, not now, you have to think about by 2030, what are the top jobs? Which areas, what field of study will create more jobs, or the top most demanding professions in the world in the future. Based on that, you have to select your higher studies opportunities, right? Okay, that is something where this until you copy down everything, right? Then next part, if you do bioscience, so then some students they will not enter medical faculty, they will enter Colombo science faculty, and they will do the chemistry special degree, and they go for a PhD in USA, and then they become the top scientist. That is a separate path. They get 3 A's, and they are capable of doing, now they have enough results to do medicine, but they drop medicine and go for microbiology, and they become a top virologist, consultant, or like doctor. Not treating for the patients, but they are doing the research. So new innovations. That is what we need the people to find solutions for the problem in the country, not to create problems. We need the people, next generation, at least few, those who can bring new medicine to Sri Lanka, like can produce, or new innovations, not to bring solutions for the existing problems, not to create new problems, right? Majority of the people create, they protest against the government, demanding this, but they never think to come up with new product or new innovations or whatever with this their knowledge. They have got the free education, right? Anyway, that is food for thought. Right. I'll move to the next question now. I explained this in detail how to do this calculation, right? Because only thing the upcoming questions also, they can change the molecule. If they give grams, they have to convert into moles, moles to molecules and atoms. That's it. Again, what? Grams to mole, moles to molecules, and molecules to atoms. But if you want, you can reverse this. Atoms can be converted into moles. How? Divide by Avogadro constant. Same thing, opposite. After multiplying, you get atoms. If you divide, you can reverse this. Atoms can be, okay, I'll use this arrow. Look at this. If I want to convert these atoms back to this one, look at the screen again. Then I can, after multiplying, you get the atoms. Then you can divide this by Avogadro constant, then you get the atoms. Understood? Even 1.5 into 10 to the power 23 molecules you got after multiplying by Avogadro constant. Then how can you convert molecules into moles? Divided by Avogadro constant. The same thing, opposite. If when you multiply, you get molecules, moles to molecules, molecules to moles, reverse, you divide by the same value, Avogadro constant. Understood? Right. Then let's move on to the next question. I'll erase the screen. Question number 52. This is actually the 2018 or 19, all of the people also they asked this question. Who can give me the answer for the 52nd MCQ? The molecular formula of water, H2O given, and number of atoms. This is what I asked before. How many atoms? Now you have to convert grams to atoms. Grams to atoms. Now I will draw a flow diagram for this. This is also kind of hard question. First, you should convert 11 grams of water. Look at the screen, everyone. Before you start calculation, you should have this is where I start and this is where you should have that picture in your head, the flow. So I'll write here 11 grams of water. You have to convert into moles of water. But first you should convert this into grams to moles. Moles of water. Then moles of H2O. Then you have to convert this again into grams to moles. Before you find the atoms, you have to convert into moles of water. Then you can go for, this is a molecule, then oxygen, number of oxygen atom. Then you can go for moles of oxygen here, oxygen moles. Moles of oxygen. Look at this, moles of oxygen. If you find moles of oxygen, then you can find oxygen atoms. Can you draw this flow diagram, everyone? What is the first step? Convert 11 grams of water into moles. Always remember, when you are given grams, first, before you find the molecules or atoms, first you should convert this into moles. Right. Right. Please, everyone, please copy down this. Then you can find oxygen atoms. Right. Let's see how to do now. First step, I will convert 11 grams. How to convert into moles? 11 grams divided by, sorry, this is 18 grams. Sorry about that. Earlier one 11 grams. No, this is 18 grams of water. 18 grams of water. So 18 grams, how to convert into moles? Divided by that first equation. Number of moles equal mass divided by molar mass. Mass divided by molar mass, you get 18 grams divided by 18 grams per mole. Then you get 1 mole. 1 mole. Okay, I found the moles now. What is the answer now? First one, I converted grams into moles. Then you get, I get here 1 mole. After that, I want to go for now number of atoms. Now this is oxygen atoms. If you want to find total atoms, then you have to, how many atoms in H2O? Total atoms, 3. I'll use one more path. If there's oxygen atom, that path. If there's total atoms, then you have to go like this. Total atoms. Total atomic moles. Total atomic moles. I'll convert this. I raise oxygen and write here moles of atoms. Atomic moles. Then here are the total atoms. Total atoms. Atomic moles, total atoms, moles of atoms and moles of just atoms. Last one. Then because earlier I used only oxygen. Now because they're asking number of atoms is total atoms. Total atoms. Okay, now next step. I got now 1 mole of water. Look at the screen, everyone. 1 mole of water now. How many atomic moles? Total atomic moles. Hydrogen will be 2 moles of atoms of hydrogen and oxygen will be 1 mole. 1 mole of oxygen. If earlier also I told him 1 mole of human having 2 moles of hands and 1 moles of heads, then the total moles of hands and heads will be 3. Like that. Then I'll put here 3. 3 moles of atoms. 3 moles of total atoms. 3 moles of total atoms. Total atoms. Then how to convert this into total atoms? Multiplied moles by Avogadro constant. Multiply moles by Avogadro constant. Avogadro constant. 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. What is the answer? 3 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. This is the final answer. This will be the final answer. Please raise the hand, those who got this final answer. This one. 3 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Total atoms in 1 mole of water, or else 18 grams of water. 18 grams of water, this much of atoms. Very good. Now, around 10 students. Okay, very good. Before I explain, those who have done the calculation and got this answer, very good. Okay, so I'll highlight the answer will be third. Question number 52, answer is third. 52 answer is third. Is that clear? Again, what? First we convert mass into moles and then moles into atoms and molecules. If you want to find hydrogen atoms, then what? 2 into Avogadro constant. 2 into Avogadro constant. If you want to find oxygen atoms, 1 into Avogadro constant. 1 into Avogadro constant will be the oxygen atoms, O atoms. If you want to find hydrogen atoms, 2 into Avogadro constant. If you want to, you can mark that with a pencil. Additional information. Additional information. I'll write with a different color. If you want to find 1 mole of water, 2 moles of hydrogen, then hydrogen atoms will be 2 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Then oxygen will be 1 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Right. That's how you get the answer. Is that clear? But what is the other question they could ask? I'll write with a different color. Different color. I will use this one. If they ask molecules, then the same thing. 1 mole of water, then you get H2O molecules will be 1 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. That is what? H2O molecules. That means you can see here, from this you can find 4 different things. From 1 mole of water, look at the screen everyone. From 1 mole of water, you can find number 1. Look at the screen everyone. From 1 mole of water, you can find number 1 molecules. What molecules? H2O molecules. You can convert that into H2O molecules. Then you can convert that into H atoms. This much of hydrogen atoms. Number 2. Number 3, you can convert this into oxygen atoms. Oxygen atoms. O atoms. Number 3. Number 4, you can find total atoms. Total atoms. Is that clear, everyone? Now, they can ask any of this in the exam other than this. What are the 4 things they can ask from 1 mole of water? They can give 1 mole of water. They can give 1 mole of water and ask number of water molecules, number of hydrogen atoms, number of oxygen atoms, number of total atoms. That's it. So sometimes in the exam, they will give mole and ask this question. Some papers, to make this hard, there's one more additional step. They will give mass and ask this question. So you can't convert directly grams to atoms or grams to molecules, cannot be done. Directly you can't do it. Look at the screen again. This is the hardest lesson out of the chemistry lessons for the grade 10 students. Even for the grade 11 students, this is the hardest lesson out of all the chemistry lessons. It's hard, I understand. But there's a method, the same method, they can change only the gram, amount of grams, and the molecule or the compound. The rest is same. Whatever the compound or the molecule, what they can ask? Atoms, molecules, or the gram, amount of substance. That's it. But what is the first? So if they give grams, first you should convert into mole. If they give directly mole, then very easy. Then one step is less. Then we can directly go from moles to molecules, moles to atoms. So this H2O has hydrogen atoms, H2O has oxygen atoms. They can ask total atoms. But if you add 2 and 3, look at here. If you add 2 and 3, then you get the fourth answer. If you take total moles of hydrogen atomic moles and oxygen atomic moles, you get the total here. 2 plus 1 will be 3 in here. Can you see here? 2 moles of hydrogen atoms plus 1 mole of oxygen, then you get total atomic moles 3. That way also you can get it. 2 plus 1. But if you take one water molecule, not mole, one water molecule, then just 2 hydrogen atoms. Just count it. 1 man, 2 hands, and 1 head. 1 oxygen atom. If it is one molecule, one water molecule, but 1 mole of water is different. 1 mole of water means large quantity. Large quantity. Any questions? Any questions? Right. I hope you understand. Anyone still copying down this? Because now I keep on adding this stuff, and that's why if someone directly look at this, then get really confused. But at the very beginning, I did one by one, step by step, right? Okay. If you want, you can request the recording. You can, if you want to watch this again, right? Even if you have joined the class, so you can make the request. I joined the class. I want to watch the recording again. Since it is hard, then yes, no problem. I will send it. Then question number 53, because I have the attendance now. Okay. I can send it. Shall I erase this? Anyone still copying down? Anyone still copying down this? But you can make it. I mean, those who are still copying down, please raise the hand, because I am going to next question now. Okay, those who are still copying down, please hurry up. Now remember, in this question, if they ask hydrogen atoms, what could be the answer? Answer will be second. If they ask hydrogen atoms in 18 grams of water, answer is second. But be careful, if they give here this one, 36 grams, what would happen here? 36 grams of water, then the moles will be 2 moles. Instead of 1 mole, it will be 2 moles. Look at here. Then 2 moles. If it is 36 grams, then you get 2 moles, because 36 divided by 18, 2 moles. Then will be total atomic moles will be how many? 2 into 3, 6 moles of atoms total, because hydrogen atoms will be 2 times 2, 4. Then is more complex. 4 moles of hydrogen. Oxygen will be 2 moles. 4 plus 2, 6 moles. Then you have to multiply 6 into Avogadro constant. Do you get it now? 6 into Avogadro constant. If they give here 36 grams of water, answer will be 6 into Avogadro constant. And total mole, total atoms. Like that, they can change the grams. If they change the grams, the moles will change, then the answer also will change. Is that clear? Right. Okay, then I'll erase this, because they don't teach this again in grade 11. Okay, now next one. The same method. So they have given, now this is not a molecule. Okay, question number 53, who can give me the answer? 53rd MCQ. Any volunteers? Okay, I'll ask the answer from Inuti. Inuti?
Fourth answer.
Very good. Answer is 4th. Let's see how to do it. Relative atomic mass given, RAM given. So 46 grams of sodium. 46 grams of sodium. How many sodium atoms? No, how many atoms? How many atoms? So I told you how to convert this into this. First, you have to convert grams into moles. Grams into moles, and then into atoms. Okay, look at this. First, you have to convert grams into moles of sodium moles. Then sodium moles can be converted into sodium atoms directly. Why? Because sodium, anyway, it consists of only atoms, no molecule. Sodium is not a molecule. Sodium consists of only atoms. Actually, sodium has only ions. That also a wrong question if they ask in that too. But anyway, for level, that's accepted. Sodium atoms. How to do 46 grams? First, you have to convert into moles. How to convert 46 grams into moles? 46 grams divided by 23. Number of moles, simple and divide by capital M. But oral paper, the structure they say, if you are doing the calculation, please don't forget to write the equation. Simple M divided by capital M. Right? Then you can write 46 grams divided by 23, because 23 is given. Molar mass of the RAM is given. RAM is equal to the molar mass if it is an element. Then I can write here the answer. Now look at the answers. All the answers they have given, they have not simplified the answer. Therefore, without wasting your time, no need to simplify this. Then I'll write here the answer 46 divided by 23 moles. That is multiplied by Avogadro constant. to get the final answer. That is multiplied by Avogadro constant to get the final answer. So how to convert then atoms equal moles into Avogadro constant. Avogadro constant. So what are the two equations? First we use mole equation, and then we use atom equation. Only two steps. First convert grams into moles, then convert moles into atoms. But that's the same thing I have given in the flow diagram, nothing new. Some students, they might find it difficult to remember the flow diagram, then you go for the equation method. So this is the flow diagram. So the first step, this equation, equation 1, second step, equation 2. First we use this equation, then we use the second equation and get the answer. Then what is the answer now? Since we don't need to simplify this, you can write here what? 46 divided by 23 into Avogadro constant. Actually, I am explaining this much, not for the students those who are good in this. At least the weaker student will get something. Don't give up. If you make an effort, until you try, you have not failed. You have not failed. The day that you give up your effort, then you have failed from that. So until that, you can say, no, still I am trying. I have not failed from this. Still I am in the process of improving towards the success. But one day if you change your mind, now I will give up this, I can't, then you will be failed. You will be drop out. Until that you are trying. So the some students, they are doing A level, first shy, second shy, third shy also. So there are doctors, those who have entered medical faculty from the most of the doctors, I mean the medical faculty, most of the bioscience students, they enter the medical faculty from the second shy. So not from the first shy, but engineering is different. So therefore they do the second shy also. And then some students, they do the third shy also. Some students, they fail from the third shy and they don't give up. They do some other method like do a foundation and private institute, they go ahead. Therefore, until you get it, don't give up. So this is the answer. So what is the answer now? 46 divided by 23 into Avogadro constant. 46 divided by 23 into Avogadro constant. But it all depends on your interest. What is this? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Right. That's why you get the answer 4th. Is that clear? Answer is 4th. Question number 53, answer is 4th. But if they ask to simplify, then the answer will be 2 into now. When you simplify this 2 into Avogadro constant, but they don't need to simplify because 46 divided by 23 into Avogadro constant. Okay. Please raise the hand those who got this answer without my help. I mean, before I explain, those who got this answer, please raise the hand. Question of 53, 4th answer. Before I explain, those who got this answer. Right, very good. Around 15 students. Right. Okay. Then let's move on to the question. Shall I erase this? Anyone still copy down? Right. Anyone still copy down? Okay, I will erase this and move on to the next one now. So this is not a molecule. Therefore, I didn't want to find a sodium molecule. There's nothing called sodium molecules. Sodium, if you get moles, or they can ask only atoms. Right? They can't ask sodium molecule. Sodium consists of only one element. So if there's more than one element like water, glucose, then they can ask a carbon atom, how many oxygen atom in that molecule. Right. Then let's move to question number 54. Number of moles is very easy. Number of moles equal mass over molar mass. Who can give me the answer for this? Glucose, what is the total? 180, right? Glucose, the total 180. Yes, Nisulu, what is the answer?
1 mole.
Very good. Answer is 1 mole. 180 divided by 180. Answer will be 1 mole. Right. So the answer is second one. Very good. Answer is second. Question number 54. Answer is second. Now next one. Question number 55. 55. Who can give me the answer? I'll ask the answer from Halal. Sumela.
Second answer.
Second answer. Between electrons.
Between electrons. Very good. Answer is second. Bonds are formed between atoms, because out of the 3 subatomic particles, proton, electrons, and neutrons, the most important subatomic particle will be electron. That's why you write the electronic configuration. That's why you write the valency based on the valence electrons. Electron will be the, even in electricity, what is the charge particle flowing in wires? Electrons. Negative charge, electrons are flowing. So therefore, electrons are very, very important. Electronic configuration for bonding. Even in chemical reactions, who involve electron. If you want to write that summary also, electrons are involved in bonding. Electrons are involved in the conduction of electric current. Electrons are important for valency. In an atom, electrons, example, if you take sodium equal 281, electrons in sodium, 11 electrons, the outermost electron 1. So this is very, very important to predict what? Electrons are important for bonding. Electrons are involved in chemical reactions. You can copy down this additional information. Electrons are involved in chemical bonding. Electrons are involved in chemical reactions. Chemical reactions, not nuclear reactions, chemical reactions. Nuclear reactions, all three, the protons and neutrons also involved. Electrons, the importance of electrons. Bonding, then chemical reactions, then electrical conductivity, and valency. For all these, electrons are important. Valency. To find the valency, you should know the outermost electron. Outermost electron 1, valency 1. 1 electron loss, valency 1. 2 electrons loss, valency 2, like that. Valency for that also very important. Then to write the chemical formula also you get from the valency. And then chemical formula, to write the chemical formula, you should know the outermost electron. And then in forming the compounds. In addition to that, electric current, electrical conductivity. Electrons are important. Conductivity. So electron is very important subatomic particle. You need the electrons to write electronic configuration. You don't write proton configuration or neutron configuration, electronic configuration. See the importance of knowing the electrons. When you know the number of electrons in an atom, important for all this. For bonding, for the electronic configuration, for the formula, for valency, for electrical conductivity. Not only that, even heat conductivity. You might not believe this sometimes. Thermal conductivity. Not only electrical, thermal conductivity also, electrons are important. Why? If you take a plastic rod, why? Okay, I'll ask a simple question. You take a plastic ruler, plastic rod, it has molecules now, that also made of elements. Why it won't conduct electricity? But if you take a metal rod, why it conduct? Because both consist of elements and compounds. Yes, who can give me the answer why plastic rod won't conduct electricity? Why metal rod conduct electricity? Any volunteers? Anu? Sumaila?
Availability of electrons.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. Availability of actually, your answer is correct, but to make it like more clear, plastic rod also has electrons. Plastic rod also contain electrons because they are atoms. Metal rod also contain electrons. Yes, Sumaila? Both contain electrons. Why only one? Sorry?
In the metal rod, the electrons have been charged.
Yeah, actually, we learned this under like later in your syllabus. Metal rod, there are free electrons, mobile electrons, free electrons, which are not permanently bonded. But plastic rod, no free electrons. Electrons are there, but they are not free to move. No free electrons. All the electrons are bonded. You had done no covalent bonds. Plastic rod, all the electrons are electrons in the bonds cannot conduct electricity. Inner electrons cannot conduct electricity. Electrons in the inner shells. Now I'll ask one more question. If you take sodium or aluminium, conduct electricity well. I'll write those. You learn all three. Now this is one more thing. I told about this electrical conductivity. If you take sodium, magnesium, and aluminium, which metal? All three are metals. Will all three metals conduct electricity to the same extent or different? Which metal conduct electricity better? Who can tell me? Out of sodium, magnesium, aluminum, what is which one conduct electricity better? Like higher conductivity, electrical conductivity, which metal? Nisula? Sumela?
Sodium.
Sodium. Sumela?
Aluminium,
Aluminium. Why aluminium and why sodium?
because aluminium having more free electrons than sodium.
Yes, very good. Actually, Sumela, free electrons means outermost electron. I'll explain this from the configuration. Sodium 281, magnesium 282, aluminium 283. Okay, 283. Now, out of these three, which one has more valence electrons? Aluminium. Aluminium has 3 valence electrons. 3 valence electrons. Aluminium has 3 valence electrons. These valence electrons are important for the electrical conductivity. Inner shells are useless. Inner shells cannot form bond. But these inner electrons cannot form bond, cannot conduct electricity. Inner electrons are useless. I don't write that one. I mean, just to understand this easily, I will have to tell this. Inner electrons cannot conduct electricity. Inner electrons cannot conduct heat. Inner electrons cannot participate in bonding. Inner electrons cannot participate even in chemical reaction. Do you understand now? Now you understand the importance of writing the configuration. Outermost electrons, how important to predict the properties of matter. Okay, now you can easily tell in aluminium there are 3 valence electrons, therefore aluminium conductivity is greater than magnesium, magnesium conductivity is greater than sodium. So this availability of these valence electrons will contribute for the electrical conductivity. So otherwise you are just writing the configuration. You don't know why you are writing the configuration. You would only answer to I can get marks if I write the configuration in the exam. But do this with the intention of improving your chemistry knowledge. If your only intention is to get marks, then you sometimes you can copy from the others the answers in the exam. Then you will find other short methods to improve, to go for A pass. But at the end, only the paper qualification, A for science, but no science in your head. Right? Therefore, my advice, if you are doing it, I mean, any subject, you should have that intention. I want to be good in this subject. I should know science well. So I like it. I want to improve my knowledge. Then automatically you will get a 90s for the paper then. Right? So automatically you will get good results if you are good in the subject. So therefore, your main intention should be to improve the subject. I mean, to improve the knowledge of this subject. Okay, with the intention of understanding chemistry. Right? That's why I give this explanation also. Otherwise, you are right, just electron subatomic particle electron discovered by J.J. Thomson, and then electronic configuration, all this. But electron is very, very important. Even for the conductivity, electrical conductivity, thermal conductivity, chemical reactions, protons and neutrons inside the nucleus, they don't, nucleus will not break. During chemical reaction, nucleus remain unchanged. Protons and neutrons, no change. So electrons only go in and out. Even when forming the ions, positive, okay, even if you want to check whether the ion is positively charged, to predict the charge of the ions, electrons are important. Ions, whether it's positive ions or negative ions. By losing electrons or by gaining electrons, ions are formed. Positive ions or negative ions, cations and anions. Even for that, you need the electron balancing. Yeah, okay, the charge. This is very, very important. Okay. So if you can copy down this importance of knowing the number of electrons in an atom, these things you can get, electronic configuration and everything. And the electrical conductivity, even in physics, we need this, even semiconductors and all. Electronics also at the beginning, you know chemistry, because silicon and all configuration important. Okay. Then let's move on to the next. But if you take a nuclear reaction, yes. Why it is called nuclear reaction? Nuclear reaction, nucleus is going to change. Then the atom also going to change. In a chemical reaction, atom will not change. I mean, that element will not change. If left side, if you have hydrogen, right side also you should get hydrogen. Hydrogen cannot be vanished during the reaction because nucleus is there. Nucleus contain protons. Number of protons equal to the atomic number. If atomic number no change, the element will not change. But in nuclear reaction, element is going to change. Why? Because atomic number, the mass number, all is going to change. Example, sun emit energy by nuclear reaction, nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. But nuclear chemistry not introduced to our syllabus. Maybe we don't have nuclear power station, no nuclear chemistry, nuclear. But nuclear chemistry, the bad side is nuclear bombs, nuclear explosions, nuclear weapons. So this is very dangerous subject, right? If it is learned by a person with not with kind heart, with good values, then that person will be very dangerous to the society, right? So with science, if you are doing chemistry, you have to be. Now, example, this virus also. Imagine now, sometimes they believe the virus created, like this man-made virus, this COVID. But we don't know. They have not revealed that yet. But anyway, some countries they complain about to some other countries, even China, all this they complain. But so if that's the problem. So the beginning, the root is what? If the science is learned by person without a kind-hearted person or without good values, then that person will be not suitable for this society, right? So only science is blind. So with science, you should have to practice your religion well. Even doctors or whoever, right? Okay, anyway. Otherwise, they can make designer drugs, illegal drugs. All this manufactured by, again, top chemist. That is the bad side. But anyway, a person good in science should be very good or should practice the religion also very well. Otherwise, that is really dangerous to the society. Who manufacture these nuclear weapons, nuclear bombs? Can a normal person do it? No, those who are good in science, right? Okay. Even this virus, we call it biological weapon. This is like a biological weapon. COVID-19 like a biological weapon. Biological weapon. Fortunately, only 2% die, or less than 2%. So if they make a virus more dangerous, spread even through air much faster, then that is problem. So this virus is a bit heavier. Therefore, it won't travel more than 2 meters from one person. When one person sneezes, they tell, okay, 2 meters, right? 2 meters. It retains in air for some time and deposit on the surface because of the density. I mean, because of gravitational attraction, the virus will deposit on the surface. That's why you have to contactless. So whenever you don't touch any surface when you go out, the best thing you have to be careful. You have to be careful with your fingers and the hand. Don't lean to the places. Then that will you are taking the virus to your skin or your clothes. Virus will deposit on your clothes. Virus can deposit on your hair. You don't put a helmet. You understand what I'm saying? Virus to protect virus enter in from your nose from your outside. You can wear a mask, and you can through your eyes also virus can enter, and then you can use shield, right? But sometimes this virus can deposit on your hair without washing your clothes or without having a bath. You come and sleep on the bed with the others. Then what happened? You are depositing the virus to the pillow covers from your head. That's why I have seen the doctors, they cover the head also in the hospital. I have seen the doctors, they cover the head also with the, right? Not only the nose and the mouth and the eyes, they cover the head also. There's like a blue color one. So that is to protect depositing the virus to their head. And they wear a personal protective equipment. Now, when we are going out, we are not covering the head. If a tall person is sneezing in front of you, then what happens? Virus come and deposit on your head. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? This is scientific literacy. With this science, those thinking ability should improve. Imagine you are thin and that person is tall, then he will sneeze and you wear the mask, the virus come and deposit on your hair. And you come home. You remove the clothes and you wash your hands with soap, and then you enter your house and sleep after the office work. You may be your father. Then father is sleeping with you and the others in the bed. Then what happened? That virus will deposit on the pillow cover. You understand this? So you have to be very careful, right? See, scientific literacy is very, very important these days, right? Of the other people. That's why everyone, when they learn science is compulsory. Okay. We don't think this much, right? We don't think, someday even you don't think this, right? Okay. And imagine now if they manufacture like a biological weapon, new virus, which can transmit 1 kilometer. Then what happened? Can you tell the people a social distance 1 kilometer? Is that practical? Imagine virus can travel more than 500 meters. Not then can they tell 1 meter social distance? No, then it will be very dangerous. If they make the virus more tiny, sometimes if they make the virus like a nanoparticle, what happened? Can you block that from the mask? Oxygen enter through your mask. Then if the virus also travel through the mask, can you wear a mask which can filter completely gases also? Then you will die without oxygen. So through the mask, oxygen will pass. Gas molecules will pass through this mask, but not the virus. Virus will get blocked. But if they manufacture the virus also to the size of the oxygen molecule, then virus also can pass through the mask. Okay. So we call them what? Biological weapons. Can a normal person do this? Can't. Biological weapon. Therefore, some modified virus, modified bacteria could be used as biological weapons. That is more dangerous than chemical weapons or nuclear weapons. Why? The whole world get infected. No property, no damages to the properties. If you tell multi-barrel or rocket or mortar, then the properties get damaged. But here what happened? No damages to the properties, only innocent civilians all get affected from this. Okay, so that is the bad side of science anyway. That's why science should be, the person who learns science should be very good in religion also, should practice the religion. That's why religion also compulsory in O level, until O level, religion is compulsory. Science also compulsory. Both are important. Some students, they get A for religion, but they are worse than the person who fail religion in O level science. They get 9A. So that's why only from religion, the grade, we can't decide whether that person is kind-hearted or not. Okay, so those things are also very important when you learn science. Right, now let's move on to the next question. Question number 56. Not a characteristics of isotope. Who can give me the answer? Anuk? Netu?
Second.
Sorry? Answer is second. Mass numbers are equal. Yeah, that is incorrect, no? Yeah. They're asking the not a character. So be careful when you read the question. Please pay attention to the question word and the active word. In case of isotopes, the mass numbers are not equal. What is not equal in case of isotopes? If you take H11 or H12, deuterium, tritium, mass numbers are not equal. And neutrons are not equal. Others are equal. So what is not equal? Neutrons and the mass number. What is equal? Protons are equal, electrons are equal, electronic configuration equal, atomic number equal. I put Z atomic number. Electrons and configuration both same. Or both these configuration 1 1. Protons 1 1, electrons 1 1. And their chemical properties same. So what is different? Neutrons and the mass number. So you should know among isotopes what are the properties different and what are the properties remain same. So please copy down that in your short notebook if you want. What is same among the isotopes? Proton number, atomic number, electrons and electronic configuration. What is different among isotopes? Mass number, number of neutrons and physical properties like density and all. If you take water from the second isotope, what happened? What is the symbol used for the second isotope? Deuterium. First isotope is hydrogen and the third isotope will be tritium. So if you make water from the second isotope, that water will be heavier than the normal water. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'll write here D2O. If you take D2O, that is water made from second isotope. It's rare, but water that you drink, nearly 99.99% of water that you are drinking come from the first isotope. But if someone manufactured D2O instead of H2O, then D2O is heavier than H2O because H2O 18 D2O, it will be 20. The relative molecular mass or the molar mass will be 20. 2 times 2, 4, 4 plus 16, yeah, 20. So it's heavier. Then high density, high boiling point, high melting point. So the properties will change. Do you understand what I'm saying? That when the isotope is changed, the physical properties change. Because then when the mass number increase, it's become heavier. Then boiling point, melting point will change. Right? Therefore, what is the most abundant isotope of hydrogen? The first isotope. Glucose, water, hydrogen gas, that's protium. That is the most abundant isotope in the nature. Understood? So the question number 56 answer is second. Right. Then question number 57. 57th one. Which ion has the most number of shells that contain electrons? Very good question. Who can give me the answer for the 57th MCQ? Any volunteers? Ayad? Netu?
The fourth answer.
Fourth answer.
Okay, very good. Answer is fourth. How come? Okay, first you should know the atomic number. Atomic number of aluminium is 13. Atomic number of aluminium is 13. Then configuration will be 2, 8. Why? 3 electrons lost. 13 become 10. That means aluminium has only 10 electrons. Why? Because of 3 plus means 3 electrons lost. Then 10 means 2, 8. Okay. Beryllium atomic number 4. Then here only 2 electrons, configuration also 2. Nitrogen atomic number 7. That means how many electrons are there? N3 minus. N3 minus. So it's 2, 5. Then 3 electrons lost. N3 minus means, like example, 2, 5 means it gained 3 electrons. Then it becomes N3 minus. So 7 electrons become 10. Minus means electrons increase. 7 become 10. Then it's become 2, 8. So nitrogen atom unstable. But nitride ion stable. Why it is 2, 8? Do you want, please copy down this if you want additional information. Nitrogen atom is unstable because configuration is not noble gas. Or it is 2, 5. Right? Nitrogen atom, atomic number 7, but nitrogen ion, nitride ion, after receiving 3 electrons, 3 minus means 3 negative charges received, then configuration is more stable. That's why the nitride ion is more stable than nitrogen atom. So because it has noble gas configuration. Sulfur atomic number 16, atomic number 16, then sulfide ion has 18 electrons. 2 minus. So remember, when they become negatively charged, electrons increase. When they become positively charged, electrons decrease than the atomic number. Again, I'm repeating. When an atom becomes negatively charged, electrons increase. When an atom becomes positively charged, electron number decrease. So sulfur, if you write the configuration, 18 electrons means what? 2, 8, 8. 2, 8, 8. That's why answer is for which ion contain largest number of electrons, or actually they don't ask the number of electrons, they ask the number of shells. So this one has 3 shells, 3 energy levels. All the others containing either 2 shells or 1 shell. Beryllium ion to 1 shell, electrons only just configuration 2. So that is a very good question. You can put 3 stars for this. O-level exam type question. You understand? So atom can be neutral. If you can copy down this information also. An atom can be either neutral, positively charged, or negatively charged. An atom can be either neutral or positively charged or negatively charged, depending on the number of electrons in it. Earlier also I told you the importance of electron. If an atom has equal number of protons and electrons, it is neutral. Right? It is neutral. If an atom has more protons than electrons, that atom is going to be positively charged, positive ion. If an atom has more electrons than protons, then it is negatively charged, negative. So that's how you decide it. Example, here positive Na plus. Na plus has more protons. So if you take chloride, it has more electrons. If you take just sodium atom is neutral. Na atom is neutral, but Na plus is positive. Why it is positive charge? One extra proton. Why Mg is Mg2 plus? It has 2 protons than electrons. 2 extra protons than, because protons are not going out or in. When the electrons are jumping out and in, this become imbalance. This become imbalance. Atom, proton unchanged, but electron can jump in or jump out. Then depend on that, electron will change. Do you understand? Again, I am saying this become imbalance not because of the proton. Proton inside the nucleus. Proton is not coming out unless it is a nuclear reaction. So only subatomic particle which can jump out of the atom is electron. Which can jump into the atom also electron. Proton and neutrons inside the nucleus at the center of the atom, that is not undergoing any change. So you should understand. So this understanding is very important, not memorizing the text. Right? So therefore, that is a good question. That's I explained bit in detail. If you want, you can quickly copy down the summary also. And how can an atom become neutral or positively charged or negatively charged? This positively charged ion also known as cations. Negatively charged ion also known as anions. Anion, kata. Okay. So most of the atoms are unstable. In the periodic table, most of the atoms are unstable because their outermost shell is not full. That's the reason. Right? Okay, then I'll erase the screen. Shall I erase this? Anyone still copying down this? So answer is 4, right? Answer is 4. Please hurry up. Okay, let's move on to the next question then until they copy down this. Question number 58. How many moles are there in 4 grams of sodium hydroxide? That is very simple question because we did harder question than this before. Who can give me the answer for the 58th MCQ? Next MCQ, the answer. I'll ask the answer from Satika. Yes, Satika. Satika, yes.
First one.
First one, yes. Very good answer is first one. So how come first? Answer. Number of moles, you need the initial equation I explained. Number of moles equal mass over molar mass. How to do this? Number of moles equal mass over molar mass. Simple M divided by capital M's. So the 4 grams divided by 40 grams per mole. 4 grams divided by 40 grams per mole. Then you get the answer. Gram cancel. Then you get 1 over 10. What is the answer? 1 over 10. So 1 over 10 means 0.1. 4 times 1, 4 times 10. 1 over 10 means 0.1 mole. That's why the answer is first one. Right. Then 59th MCQ. 59th MCQ. Who can give me the answer? Molecular formula of glucose. What is the mass of 1 mole of glucose? Okay, I'll erase this. 59th. Who can give me the answer? I'll ask the answer from the same set of students raising the hand, others always silent. Right. Netu?
The first one.
Yeah, very good answer is first one. So mass of 1 mole of glucose means, in other words, they are asking the molar mass. So look at here, molar mass. That means molar mass means mass of 1 mole. So 1 mole of glucose, if you get total here, you get 180 gram. 180, that is relative molecular mass, RMM. So the molar mass or the mass of 1 mole also will be the same value. Only difference, remember, for a given molecule, relative molecular mass is same as molar mass. Only difference the unit. Okay, again I'll write it. What is the RMM here? Relative molecular mass. I put RMM. Relative molecular mass 180. Since it is relative, no unit. But if you tell molecular mass or molar mass will be the same numerical value, the 180, but unit grams per mole. Grams per mole. What is the meaning of molar mass? Molar mass, the meaning is what? Mass of 1 mole. What is the meaning of molar mass? Mass of 1 mole. If you only can copy down this, mass of 1 mole. That means what? 1 mole of glucose equal to 1 mole equal 180 grams. That's what it means. 1 grams per mole. 180 grams per mole means 180 grams equal 1 mole. So 1 mole has how many? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 what? Glucose molecules. Because how to convert moles into molecules? Multiplied by Avogadro constant. Glucose molecules. If you can copy down all this. 1 mole means 180 gram. 180 gram or 1 mole means 180 grams. That means 180 gram has this much of glucose molecule. But if you want to find here oxygen atoms, then you have to multiply this by C6H12, 6 into Avogadro constant. You have to multiply 6 into Avogadro constant. I put L Avogadro constant. If you want to multiply this, if you want to find hydrogen atoms, say carbon atoms here, 6. Then hydrogen atoms, 12 into Avogadro constant. If you want to find here oxygen atoms, 6 into Avogadro constant. I put L for Avogadro constant, right? That's how you get it. If you want to find total atoms, then what? 18 into Avogadro constant. Is that clear? If you want to find 1 mole of glucose total atoms, not atomic moles. Atomic moles will be 18. Total atoms will be, how to find total atoms? Total atomic moles, 24. 24 into Avogadro constant. 24 into Avogadro, I put L, Avogadro constant, I don't write the numerical value, I'll write L, capital L. 24 into Avogadro constant. Is that clear? 1 mole of glucose is equal to this much of glucose molecules. That much of glucose has this much of carbon atoms, this much of hydrogen atoms, and this much of oxygen atoms. L for Avogadro constant. Total atoms will be this much. Very important. Please copy down this everything. So molar mass, relative atomic mass, relative molecular mass, and relative atomic mass no units, but relative molecular mass, or sorry, the molar mass has units. Molar mass has units. Done. Anyone still copying down? Please raise the hand. Those who are still copying down. Right. Hurry up. So the answer is first one. Very good. Answer is first one. So it's not hard, but try to learn something new from each MCQ. I'm not just telling the answer, because otherwise I can post the marking scheme also with the paper. So I want you to learn something new from each MCQ. That's why. That is the 59th MCQ. Okay. Shall I erase this? Okay. When you're done, please lower your hand. Okay. Then let's move on to the next one. Vinuka, okay, when you're done, please lower your hand. Then question number 60. 60, which central atom has not obtained complete outer shell? Complete outer shell. Not obtained complete outer shell. Who can give me the answer for this? Central atom underline, not obtain underline, complete outer shell. Complete outer shell is not completed. That's what they ask. Okay, that's a good question. Hard question. Oral exam type question. You can put 3 stars for this also. I'll ask the answer from Vinuka. Pulsara?
Answer number 3.
3. Yeah, that is the answer. Very good. Sometimes we call this incomplete octet. If can you put an arrow towards this and write beryllium, what is the configuration? Beryllium 2,2. Beryllium can form maximum 2 bonds. Okay, so please write this beryllium configuration 2,2 atomic number 4. If you don't know the atomic number of the beryllium, that is the end of your chemistry. 2,2 means what? 2 valence electrons. 2 valence electrons. 2 valence electrons means valency 2. Okay, I'll write here valency 2. Valency 2, number of bonds that can be formed also what? 2. That means beryllium cannot form more than 2 bonds because inner electrons are useless. They cannot form any bonds. Now when you write this, beryllium can form only 2 bonds. 1 electron for making this BeCl bond, the other electron for this one. Then are there any remaining electrons in the valence shell? No. Therefore, around beryllium, how many electrons are there here? Only 4 electrons. Only 4 electrons in the outermost shell of beryllium. Beryllium, only 4 electrons in the valence shell. That means less than 8. Less than 8. So it can, but beryllium can keep 8 electrons. Can keep 8 here. Can keep 8. Can keep 8. But it has only 4. Therefore, we call it what? Incomplete octet. Can keep 8. 8 means octet. 8 means octet. But here it's incomplete octet. Is that clear? This is called incomplete octet. Incomplete octet. Incomplete octet. That's the reason. Please underline both this. Octet highlight, incomplete octet highlight. Can keep 8. You had unknown the second shell can keep 2, 8, 18. Like second shell of any atom can keep up to maximum 8 electrons. If it is, if the second shell is completed, that is very stable. Therefore, beryllium chloride is not. Most of the group 2 and group 3 elements, this problem will arise. But if you draw all the others, you will get completed one. Outermost will be full. Now, example, if you take, okay, I'll draw ammonia. Look at ammonia here. Ammonia, when you draw nitrogen, what is the configuration of nitrogen central atom? 2,5. 2,5 means it can form maximum up to 5 bonds, but here it form only 3. So only 3 bonds. NH3, 3 bonds, and there will be a lone pair. Then for the 3 bonds, 3 electrons, 3 bonds contain 6 electrons. And with the lone pair, there will be 2 electrons. Then the total will be 8. So outermost shell is full. This outermost shell is, that is called noble gas configuration. Outermost shell full. Each bond contain 2 electrons. Each bond contain 2 electrons. Each bond contain 2 electrons. So if you take water, look at water, H2O. H2O, central atom oxygen, and there will be 2 hydrogen. 2 hydrogen. For the 2 bonds, each bond contain 2 electrons. 2 bonds contain 4 electrons. How many lone pairs? After, okay, what is the configuration of oxygen? Oxygen configuration 2,6. 2,6. So out of 6 electrons, 2 electrons used for the bond, because out of these 4 electrons, not all 4 not from oxygen. Out of these 4 electrons, 2 from oxygen, 2 from hydrogen. That also you have to understand. Out of 6 electrons, 1 electron for this bond, the other electron for this bond, then the other 4 electrons remain as 2 pairs. So therefore, 2 lone pairs or 2 non-bonding pairs, 2 lone pairs contain what? 4 electrons. So the 4 plus 4, then the total will be 8 electrons again. Is that clear? If you take CH4, CH4, how many bonds? 4 chemical bonds, 4 covalent bonds. It's a non-polar inorganic organic molecule, covalent molecule. So 4 bonds, no lone pairs. 4 bonds means how many electrons total? Each bond has 2 electrons. So after bonding, those bonding electrons belonging to both the atoms. So it's an as 8 electrons. All this what? Octet, octet, octet. But only beryllium is incomplete octet. We call it octet. They have reached octet. Therefore, it is very stable. Therefore, these molecules are very stable because they have reached the octet. Central atom has reached octet. Central atom has reached noble gas configuration, not the terminal atom. So in a molecule, the central atom is the most important one. Terminal atom, hydrogen cannot reach octet. Hydrogen can keep maximum 2 electrons. Central atom has reached octet or noble gas configuration. So that is called, in sometimes very rarely they can have expanded octet also. Sometimes very rarely they can have expanded octet. I'll give one example. If you take phosphorus pentachloride, PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride, there are 10 electrons, five bonds. 5 bonds means what? 5 bonds means how many electrons? 10 electrons. If there are 10 electrons, we call it what? Expanded octet. More than 8, expanded octet. Less than 8, incomplete octet. Exactly 8, octet. What are the three things now? If there are 8 electrons in this outermost shell or the valence shell, we call it octet. If there are less than 8 electrons in the valence shell, we call it incomplete octet. If there are more than 8 electrons in the valence shell, we call it expanded octet. Expanded octet, very few in your syllabus. Incomplete octet also very few. And most of the other molecules, they have reached the octet. Octa means 8. Octane, 90 octane, petrol, octa, 8 carbon. Okay. Right. So that is about this question number 60. So I gave detailed explanation. And what is the name given to all these structures? So this CnH3, CH2O, what is the name given to all this? Who can give me what is the common name that can be given to all these structures? Yes, any volunteers? What is this called? What is this called? Sumela?
Lewis structures.
Very good, excellent. That is called Lewis structure. Lewis structure consists of lone pairs and a small dash or the line for the bonding pairs. So every year, all of people, they ask at least one of these molecules, the Lewis structure also. You should know how to draw the Lewis structure. Before all this, you should know the configuration. My advice, if you don't know the configuration of an element, that is the end of your chemistry. First 20 elements, everyone should know the configuration. Otherwise, you will find the chemistry very difficult. Without the periodic table, you can't do chemistry. That is the alphabet, chemistry alphabet. Okay. So I gave detailed explanation about this also. This not obtain complete outer shell. Instead of this not complete outer shell, they can give the single term in the exam, octet. Right. So then with this, I think it's almost 7:30. With this, I'll wind up today and we'll continue the remaining MCQs next day. And remember the 2018 Western Province paper also, we had to discuss the essay type question. Please keep the answers ready by next week because after only 40 more MCQs left, because gradually the questions going to be little by little harder, right? So the first few MCQs very easy in this paper. So after doing this 100 MCQs, your chemistry knowledge will be definitely will improve if you discuss each question like this, right? Okay, then we'll stop for today. Have a nice day and God bless you.